Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, I want to give a shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. I seen a video today, and they were talking about all he talks about is the same thing. LeBron gets carried by AD, this and that, and that and this. And look, I mean, he went off on him, and he had every right to go off on him. And what I can say is, a lot of times, when it comes to the NBA, you find yourself saying the same thing over and over and over and over again because the same things are happening in the NBA. It's the same thing. It might be a different face sometimes, but it's the same things that keep happening all the time. And if you watch somebody else, other people's, videos or podcasts or whatever like that, they're saying the same thing too, right? The people who vouch for LeBron being the GOAT, they say the same things all the time. They have no type of these guys are ridiculous. They say the same thing. Gary Payton just said something not too long ago. I think Scottie Pippen always said the same thing. Gilbert Arenas says the same thing. Most of these guys say the same thing about why LeBron James is the GOAT. Basically, exactly the same damn thing. And it doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense what they're saying. So I just thought it was Sports and Fitness Rants really had to defend itself on this. He's got a lot of videos out there. Him and Sports and Fitness Rants and Too Raw, I watched them the most, because I felt like, to me, they were real versatile in what they did. Now, even if you hear Sports and Fitness Rants, his title will say the same thing. LeBron got carried. He won't say the same thing. He can break down if it's the same title on the video, he can break it down in so many damn different ways. It's crazy because when you listen to people like him, you're just like, why is Stephen A. Smith working for ESPN? Why is, even when Skip was there, why is he working for ESPN? Why is Chris Broussard working for ESPN? Why are all these people who claim they're analysts of basketball, even sports players who used to play in the NBA, why are they working on TV? If Sports and Fitness Rants can break all this down and make them sound like idiots, how are these people working on TV? Because we're supposed to be hearing the truth from the damn TV as far as sports in sports history. We're not trying. It's ridiculous. We hear excuses, narratives. We never hear the truth about these players, about LeBron James, about NBA history. Nothing like this. ESPN. We've seen what it went to. Fox Sports and all this stuff. It went to dissing players from the NBA. You got the contract and all the rights from the NBA. Disney did, that owns Fox and owns ESPN. You guys got the rights from the NBA and felt like the only way you could sell this soft, weak, girly, boring ass era that nobody watches since the 2010s is you lie. That's crazy, folks. And this, the league that they bought the rights to. You're dissing a league that you bought the rights to, folks. That's crazy. You're dissing the league that you bought the rights to by dissing the past players. And some of these past players like Isaiah Thomas and Gary Payton, you was just waiting, like, when are these guys going to come out the woodwork and say something? Because they've been saying these things for a long time about past eras. Magic Johnson finally had to say something about Anthony Edwards. I'm like, how come you haven't said nothing before? They've been dissing your era forever. That's why when Gary Payton came out and said that nonsense the other day about Michael Jordan and LeBron, I'm like, it doesn't matter what Gary Payton really says, because Gary Payton, you've been getting dissed for about almost 10 years by ESPN and Fox in the media. So LeBron James in the media basically has saying, you can't dribble. You played in an expansion era. You played in a weak era. You was just garbage. That was Michael Jordan's competition in the 90s. In his finals competition that they say was garbage and was weak and they couldn't shoot and they couldn't do all this stuff, that was you, Gary Payton? So it really starts right there. It doesn't really matter what Gary Payton says, who he thinks is the GOAT, which he thinks LeBron is, but that's how stupid you even look, bro. They said you're trash. And you just went for a guy that called you trash. I'm telling you, man, this is crazy. And that's why I can't believe these guys actually make this money. These guys are even these players from the past in the 90s, the 80s, you feel bad for them because they've never made that kind of money, some of them. And, I don't think none of these guys in any era made the money that we've been told. But anyways, not that they didn't make millions. Yes, I believe that. And I can keep saying that. But I don't believe they made these contracts that we've been told. But you see Gary Payton like that. I'm like, man, it's sad when you see these guys, you need a couple bucks, because you got to think, this isn't going to last forever. It's going to be like in the media, maybe no more than a week. After everybody start pissing on it, tearing it apart, laughing at it, whatever like that, it's going to go away and it's going to mean nothing. You just took some money for something that, is a lie. It's going to be out in media in no time. From a guy that said you was trash. Basically, said you was trash. And in something that's going to be over pretty soon. Out of sight, out of mind, nobody's going to care about LeBron James. The only thing that's keeping him up is YouTubers, wanting to make money off a lie. I told you guys, a lie is beautiful, feels good, give me some more. The truth is ugly and don't feel good, get it away from me. Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny, they came at Sports and Fitness Rants, and, he done beat the hell out of LeBron so bad, his fans. Like, I don't even know how he could have any fans. He done destroyed this guy. Like, how could you, if you came to Sports and Fitness Rants channel and you watched him and watched his videos, how could you be a fan of LeBron? How could you come on that channel and actually say you're a fan of LeBron? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, if you want to be a fan of his, okay, that's fine. Everybody has fans, needs fans, stuff like that. But you cannot debate what he was saying. What he's always said. He came with all the facts, and he done destroyed LeBron James. He's like a guy that, loves basketball, grew up playing basketball. We watch this stuff, and we don't dig it. We don't dig this dude and what he did for the NBA, and what's happened since he's been in the NBA, and what he has left for the NBA, and it might continue to be the same, because these guys that have fallen behind him, worshiping him and cherishing him, this is what they're left. So they're going to have this same mentality to where they don't want to work hard, they don't want to play hard, they don't want to play defense, they're going to sit out, all this stuff, folks, because what carries this NBA now? Not the players. It's basically the media. The media is carrying the NBA. That's it, folks. The NBA always had carried itself as far as its on-court play. So the media was just there, to advertise it. Even if you want to say, at times it was 50-50. The media, the players, whatever you want to say, 50-20, whatever. It's like 95-5 today. 95-5 today. The media is carrying the hell out of this NBA, and it has. The problem is, with the media carrying this NBA, they've been having to do it off of lies and narratives. You can have a narrative, but why is the narrative got to be full of lies and stuff like that? Why? Because the NBA can't sell itself. There's no official greatness in this league since the 2010s, right? When the last of the Mohicans retired, those type of guys, I would say in the late 2010s, the Dirks and the Winskys, the Kobe's, those guys like that. That's it. Most of those guys came from the 90s. The Paul Pierce left, the Steve Nash left, the Jason Kidd left, the Kevin Garnett's left, the Tim Duncan's left. All these guys from the 90s. The Manu Ginobili. And let me say this real quick. I seen a video, because Sports and Fitness Rant said, he was telling him he puts up all kind of videos and stuff like that. But he ended up putting up a video today, and it was it was Rex and him going against another guy. I want to say he was African, the way he was talking. And what they were debating about is the NBA, I don't know, maybe this was about 3 years ago or something. I'm not sure, but it seemed like it was about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago. Anyway, they were debating, is the NBA more athletic than it was in the past? Wow, folks. And he wanted to bring all these Africans, because you have more Africans in here than you have Europeans. In that, pretty much what he was saying, Africans and melanated people are, more athletic and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And he tried to make it, the games better, because it's just like, 95% now, melanated people, if that's what we want to say. Now, I think this guy is out of his mind, because the NBA has nothing to do with athleticism first. It has to do with fundamentals. You can have all the athleticism in the world. If you don't have the fundamentals, you're going to get destroyed. Okay, Larry Bird's team, Larry Bird, McHale, you had Danny Ainge on that team. You had, what's this guy's name? He just passed away not too long ago. I'll remember his name in a minute. The Hall of Famer. And it was some white guys on that team. Klein was on that team, and they was destroying. It was destroying black players. With teams with mostly black players on it, they were destroying those teams. So to me, the NBA is not just about athleticism. It's about fundamentals too. You can have all the athleticism you want, but if you don't have the fundamentals, you're going to lose. Now, if you have both, I mean, checkmate. Checkmate. And what I mean is, LeBron James got destroyed in international games. He got destroyed in the Olympics by Manu Ginobili and not one melanated brother on that Argentina team. Don't tell me about their Spanish. Don't do it. Like I said, it ain't one melanated brother on that team. Also, he went over there and played against Greece and got destroyed with only one melanated brother on those teams. Right? So we saw what was on the 04 Olympic team. They got destroyed by plumbers. You saw what was on the 06 FIBA team. I'm talking about as far as players. They got destroyed. They got destroyed. And they almost got beat by Serbia with no melanated brothers on that team. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see none. So it's not solely off of athleticism. It's not like that, folks. You got to have some type of fundamentals. Because that could work either way. It could be black guys going against black guys who both of them are athletic. But this team full of black guys, they got fundamentals. So they're going to destroy that other team with black guys on there who don't have fundamentals. Basketball ain't just about athleticism. No sport is. No sport is just solely based off of athleticism. So I found that funny that, he's trying to make it seem like the NBA is just better now because it's more athletic. And that's not true, man. A lot of these players in this era, they couldn't play in the 90s. They just couldn't. Greek Freak is good, but they would shut him down. They would shut him down. He ain't got no jumper. He ain't got no jumper. They will shut him down in the 80s and 90s. What we look at basketball today, I ain't trying to hate on Greek Freak, but it's just certain things he would have to play positional basketball. What he's getting confused about is you're not playing positional basketball today. So guys just run around doing what the hell they want to do. They're all sitting at the 3-point line. The coach is fake. The referees are fake. So back then you had to play not only fundamental basketball, you had to play X's and O's. You had to play scheme. You had to do all these different things and watch tape and against your team, and you had to run plays and do all these certain things. It just wasn't pick and pop. And now it's so bad that you got Matt McClung, a white guy. He just won back-to-back dunk contests. He's showing how athletic these guys really are today. He's showing how athletic these guys are today. And these guys today are showing how athletic they are by doing what? Only shooting 3-pointers. So actually, their athleticism is diminishing more than ever. Their athleticism is diminishing more than what it was in the 90s. It's going away, folks. Because you take a guy like Anthony Edwards, yes, he got great athleticism, but it's diminishing because he's not using it. A lot of his dunks ain't even dunks. Ain't even his hand touching the rim, folks. It's throwing the ball over somebody. That's a lot of these guys' dunks. Ja Morant, throwing the ball in the basket over somebody. Not even completely finishing the dunk. Guys, athleticism ain't only dunking. There's no more guys in the paint battling each other. You need great athleticism for Hakeem to go against David Robinson. Shaq to go against Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing to go against Moses Malone. They battling. So you got to come up with these crazy moves and, do all these, practice, and it makes you more athletic when you do these things. And he said, oh man, there's more guys that can jump high at the combine and do all this stuff. And yeah, that's been happening in football for a long time. And these guys never do nothing with their career because it's not about that. You can put all these athletes on these teams with no fundamentals and then get the guys who got the fundamentals. They're going to win. Look what happened in the 23 FIBA. The 23 FIBA. Those guys got beat by plumbers again. They got beat by plumbers. Right, look at LeBron's career. They're getting beat by a plumber. Somebody who ain't even athletic. Joker done beat him and AD 2 times. Gentleman sweep and a sweep. And on top of that, no All-NBA teammate, no All-Star teammate, no All-NBA defensive teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate. Joker had none of that, folks. Joker is making a damn fool out of athleticism in this era. You make a fool out of him. It should be like a video game, right? Him just dribbling around the court, dudes bouncing off of him, boom, 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 boom. Dudes just bouncing off of him. They can't do nothing with him. These are the great athletes of this era. Luka too. Know what's going on with Luka this year, but Luka in the past, these guys can't even jump over a damn phone book. And here this dude is on that debate thing talking about athleticism. See, I would have ran him off there. Athleticism is only good in sports as if you're fundamental. We don't have so many athletic guys come in the NBA and they were trash. That's why back in the day, they wanted fundamentally sound players. Now, if you get a great athlete on top of that, that's great. That's why Michael Jordan became who he was. They was going crazy about him coming out of college. Bobby Knight didn't even coach this guy. Yeah, he did in the Olympics, but before the Olympics, he already knew. He said, I've never seen anybody this fundamentally sound with this type of athleticism. He said, I've never seen it. And he's coachable. He takes advice. You know, he wants to win. He wants into himself. You can't say that about LeBron James. About he was that fundamentally sound. He was just bigger than all the guys in his academy school. But when he got to the NBA, it was a different story. Now, if he would have got to the 90s NBA, 80s NBA, he really would have been dwarfed. If not dwarfed, it would have been like all these guys just as big as you. Come down the lane, you're going to get it. And as a small forward, guess what you're going to have to do? You want to play small forward or power forward? No, you don't want to play power forward because you don't want to really rebound at a high level and have a post game and, you know, step out and hit the midi. You don't want to do that. Okay, we'll put you at the wing. We'll put you at small forward. You really better be able to hit that mid-range out there. Right? You better be able to handle that ball while you got primetime defenders on you with a damn hand check, with an elbow on your back. All this stuff. You better be able to make that pass on a dime in traffic with no space. And that's what Rex was saying. He was like, yeah, these guys look like they're better athletes because they changed the rules. That's the only thing I would have said point blank. You know, he was talking about that, you know, you put Russell, you put, you know, who you put, Will, you put Oscar, you put all those guys in this era, their athleticism doesn't change. And it's even as good as these athletes in this era. And, you know, I would take it to another step. They would be even better because they're fundamentals. They would be even better. Now, you're trying to tell me you can't touch them? It's a no-touch era? You can't touch these guys? You what? Man, Jerry Westby scoring 40 points a game, bro. I don't have to put any effort towards defense. Man, this is 40 a game. That's why we're talking about when people talk about Michael Jordan when they say, hey, man, score 50 a game, man, average 50. Yes. You don't have to put no effort towards defense. And the great athletes that they was, and you can't even stop them. You can't play defense on them. Man, this this is an easy 50 for Michael Jordan. This is an easy 60 for Wilt. Who gonna stop Wilt in the post, bro? See, what they will tell you is, oh, he can't shoot the three. Why would you want to shoot the three? This will tell you how rigged this damn NBA is. Rigged, folks. That they will say anything this dumb. Why would I have a guy who could get 50, 60 points a game in a no-touch era sit out there and shoot threes at that percent, at 30%, at 35%, at 38%, when this guy will be getting me 40, 50 points a game doing what he does without shooting a three at 70% on twos? This is most ridiculous, and this is how you know this game is rigged. This is how you know this game is rigged, because only LeBron James is allowed to, you know, score 3/4 of his points doing dunks and layups. Nobody else is in this era. And you would think the majority of people will be smart enough to know I can score 40 points a game because there's nobody in there to stop me. And if you try to stop me, it'll be a damn foul. So why the hell you out there shooting threes for? If nobody can stop you barreling to the lane, only LeBron knows this? Only LeBron James knows this. Shaq wouldn't know it. Hakeem Olajuwon wouldn't know it. David Robinson, hey man, you got to shoot the three, man. This is this era. They, you know, the commissioner told us we got to shoot threes, man, and we can't play in this era, man. I wouldn't shoot one damn three if I was Shaq. I'll just Shaq attack. Who the hell gonna stop me? You guys are idiots. Talking about, oh, who can play in it? What you couldn't do is you couldn't play in the 90s and the 80s and back then because you couldn't shoot the three like that. Nobody would do this stupid stuff that they're doing. Throw the ball to this dude. Okay, let me explain the retarded stuff that they do. And this is how you know this game is like fixed, right? It looks rigged and fixed because these guys can't hold their own. So somebody had the ball and he'll throw it to a 3-point guy. And then the guy that's covering the 3-point guy, he's by himself, but another man will come off of his guy to go for that 3-point guy to cover him. I'm like, why? And then now the guy with the ball, he's like, am I going to shoot it or am I going to pass it? So let's say he passes it, right? Now, another guy comes off his guy to help the other guy, and it just keeps going on and on until they find an open 3-point guy to splash it in. Or, this is what I like. That's so dumb. It'll be a guy that drives the lane, and he's got a defender on. For some reason, another guy will come off of his guy to help the guy that's driving, or to help his teammate. And I'm like, why? So we already know what's going to happen now. He's going to kick it out to one of his guys on the 3. And now he's open, because he done threw it to the guy that's open. Now another guy got to come off his guy's 3-point line and go try to get him. And they just keep passing it, or it's like, for what though? The guy that was driving to the basket, guess what? In the 90s, he's just going to hold his own. He don't need no help. He ain't going to need no help. And guess what? You know what's going to be the help? The guy that's sitting in the lane, the center. That's where this guy plays, right there. So you couldn't do that. Even if you say, oh man, but you know, the center was stretched out. Still, the guy that's covering his guy, he can still handle those guys. They ain't gonna leave all them guys open, folks. And I'm not trying to say, you know, it never happened in the 80s or 90s where they swung the ball and the guy wasn't open, but this is all damn game what these guys do. You can't figure this out. Stop trying to double a guy who has really no great talent to beat you and just play him straight up. But instead, they just try to come double these guys all game, and it's just like hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. Who the hell wants to see that all game? And then they miss. They done hot potatoed around the whole damn, 3-point line, and then they miss. It's ridiculous. So yeah, what Rex was saying too, like I said, they just have a whole bunch of athletes in this game. A whole bunch of athletic guys with no fundamentals. That's all they got. That's all they got. For the most part. I ain't gonna say all of them, but like Rex said, they just start filling up rosters with athletes instead of athletic fundamental guys. Why? What does that do, folks? Well, to me, it gives you cheap labor. That's all it does. You don't have to, when you're just a 3-point shooting game, now you don't have to have fundamental guys because you don't have no position players. You don't have no guys with positional skills because you don't have any positional players. So now you just got these weird looking guys that you would never see before. Just tall and skinny, don't look like they looked at a weight in their life. I'm trying to tell you guys, the guys in this era today, or in the 2020s, they look like the guys that we saw back in high school that play basketball, right? As far as the way they're built, you know what I'm saying? You're still developing, you're still going through adolescence and puberty and stuff like that. So they're more thin, in high school. That's what the NBA players got today. They got that build. They don't even have the college build. I'm trying to tell you that we seen back in the day. These NBA players today in the 2020s don't even have the college build of what we seen in the 80s and 90s back then. And to talk about NBA players that we saw back in the days, 80s and 90s and even before, it's not even close, folks. These guys will get destroyed by 80s and 90s players. Remember I told you that story about the Dream Team playing the 24 Olympic opponents, right? The slow-footed Rudy Gobert, the rookie Wemby, who was crying at the end, and he had every right. No, they was cheated, but you knew what was coming. Could barely beat Serbia, had trouble with South Sudan. This is a problem. If the Dream Team played the 24 Olympic competition, this is what would happen, folks. As soon as that Dream Team, 92 Dream Team, stepped on the floor, the opponents wouldn't know what to do. They would have a mental breakdown. The Serbias, the South Sudans, the Frances. Oh, I can't believe it. That's Michael Jordan. That's Magic Johnson. Oh, that's Clyde Drexler. That's Scottie Pippen. That's Larry Bird. That's Charles Barkley. Oh my God, that's Karl Malone. I can't believe Clyde Drexler. Scottie Pippen. They would have a mental breakdown, folks. And why? Because of who they are, what they done, and what they achieved, and what they stood for, folks. That's why. And then the game will begin, and the 92 Dream Team will destroy these guys, just like they destroyed every other opponent, because they were athletic as hell, and they were fundamentally sound as hell. The most fundamentally sound group of guys you ever put together, folks. That's what it was about. You can even put athleticism to the side. These guys were the most fundamentally sound group of all time. And it's not even close. Not the second dream team, not the third, not whoever you want to put there. It was this team, folks. The IQs, the fundamentals, and then you put the athleticism into it, you're going to get stomped in the mud. I'm trying to tell you, this is what they try to tell you, that this team would have a problem with slow-footed Rudy Gobert and rookie Wemby blowing in the damn wind in Serbia, in South Sudan. So what does this speak to right here, folks? If the 24 Olympic team had a problem with that competition right there, that the Dream Team, 92 Dream Team, would stomp out into dust, what does that mean? It means that the 24 Olympic team, United States 24 Olympic team, had a lack of fundamentals. The fundamentals wasn't there, folks. When you look at them and you say, are these guys great athletes? Well, yeah. Well, of course. What are we talking? We can't question that. The problem is they lack the fundamentals. They don't have the same fundamentals because they've never had to play positional basketball at a high level and are really not playing fundamental basketball. They're not, folks. That's why they had a problem with these guys. So when the 24 USA men's Olympic team jumped on the floor in their competition, seeing them, it was like, I mean, like, they wasn't scared. They saw what they were going up against, right? What are you going against? Super team builders. Guys that built super teams to win, right? Not some of the greatest of all time at their position. You can go through that dream team, and these guys are some of the greatest guys at their position. And what I'm talking about is maybe top, even number 1, 2, 3, or top 5 at their position. When you look at those guys. Yep. And they played against stiff competition. And they didn't play in a no-touch era. And we can just keep going on and on. They played in the golden era. They took the game global. If you would have put them in a no-touch era, they would have been pissed. They would have went straight to the office instead of the commissioner's office and been like, look, no, we don't want to play in this no-touch era. We don't want to do it. Because if we do this, all them dudes in the 70s is going to be laughing at us. In the 60s, ain't no way we can be better than them or as great as them if we're playing in a no-touch era. Because if we play in a no-touch era in a three-point shooting contest, it's going to take out the fundamentals. It's going to take out the positional skills and eventually the fundamentals of the game. We can't do that, folks. And they couldn't do that no way back then. Them dudes would have been pissed. The coaches would have been pissed. The fan base would have been pissed. Fan base would not have showed up. We had real fans back then. We didn't just have fans that want to be entertained. And that's another thing is, these guys went through rivalries. Ain't no damn 2024 Olympic team, a U.S. men's Olympic team. That 24 team ain't went through no damn rivalries. You don't go through super team rivalries. That's not a rivalry, folks. You go through rivalries where all these number ones are playing with number ones. You got LeBron playing with a whole bunch of number ones on this super team that were number one franchise players of another team. You got Curry playing with another number one. Ain't no rivalries. Dudes weren't podcasting after a game. Man, this was real-ish. Because the 90s was real-ish. The 80s was real-ish. This life was real-ish back then, folks. It was push, 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 gimme, gimme, gimme back then, folks. You couldn't make no money like today. It's so easy to make money today. It's crazy. You could get a job making good money or decent. You could just go Uber now. You couldn't do that back in the day. You couldn't make no money off of social media. Man, there's so many ways you couldn't make money back then like that. And it made stuff tougher. It made music tougher. It made sports tougher. It made movies tougher. Everything was push, 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 gimme, gimme, gimme. Wasn't nobody gonna hand you a damn dollar like that. It wasn't easy to get money. It was only the best of the best in music, movies, sports, sitcoms, everything, folks. It wasn't no room for nobody else but the best of the best. Now you got whatever, the whatever. Now, folks, it's a joke. This is the era that LeBron plays in, the whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. Go turn on our music back in the days, the 80s and 90s. Listen to that. Watch our movies from the 80s, the 90s. Watch our sitcoms from the 80s, the 90s, and I can even say the early 2000s too. Go watch our sport. Everything that fashion back then, everything that was going on in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, it was the best of the best that was up at the top, folks. It wasn't no room. It wasn't no room for nothing else, but just the best. The 2010s and the 2020s, it ain't like that no more, folks. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. But yeah, Rex was right. They only look more athletic because they changed the rules. You got better medicine, you got better that. But if you put those same guys in this era, they're as great or they're better. We talking about put those guys of today in the past era. What Rex is saying, they could be in the NBA because they only took the best of the best. So you got a lot of guys on the NBA roster that would never make the 90s, never make the 80s, never make the 70s, the 60s. They didn't care that you was just athletic. You had to have fundamentals. They cared about winning. Now you just got a whole bunch of cheap labor sitting on the bench that I'm not even gonna start saying these names, folks, but it's hideous. These players that are in the NBA today, and we watched the game back in the 90s and 80s, it's a joke. Really? You got Schroeder winning the damn FIBA? This is our new American star, Anthony Edwards, who got destroyed by international plumbers, shooting 44% this year, got benched by the turnover king. If you want to play in the Olympics, boy, you got to come off the bench. You think that would happen to Michael Jordan? You better not sit Michael Jordan on the bench because LeBron better not even come to practice. You're going to get 40 put on your head a game just in practice. And then Mike going to put up 50 in the games. So you better not let him in. Mike ain't going to talk. Oh, Anthony Edwards, man, they're going to look out for me, man. You just got benched. How can we look out for a water boy? We just better hope that water is on point, boy. These are the type of guys. Ain't never been top 5 in the league or been up for MVP. And this is the new American. These are the new athletes, folks. That's why I said I wish I would have debated that dude, but I would have destroyed him. I would have destroyed him.